I gotcha.
Throughout comics, villains and heroes with a tragic past have been romanticized and included in the lists of favourites. Writers have used the tools of loss, suffering, anxiety and depression to build deep and intriguing characters. However, when it comes to Kite Man, DC Rebirth's backstory for the character has been a little too disheartening. Hello everyone and welcome to another marvellous video in which we will be taking a dig at one of the most underrated villains in the history of DC Comics, and also explain why he is known as the most tragic villain of Batman. So without any further ado, let us begin. Now before we go into our video, we do have a small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Who is Kite Man? Created by writer Bill Finger and artist Dick Sprang, Kite Man was one of the Batman's minor villains from 1960's Batman issue 133. Back then, the character was introduced even before villains like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. This particular issue began with Batman and Robin at a penthouse party for a visiting Indian king. Amidst the guests, a mysterious box kite began dropping tear gas on the guests within the penthouse. And out of nowhere, Kite Man appeared to rob the Indian king's ruby. After robbing this precious gem, Kite Man escaped with Robin managing to grab the villain's leg with a lasso. However, Kite Man flew, leaving Robin to let go and fall safely into a rooftop water tank. Kite Man's crime scene had grown quite popular in Gotham, following which Batman and Robin drove to Gotham Bay to judge a kite skiing competition and also begin their research on the villains and kites. Meanwhile, at Gotham Bay Prison, Kite Man was scheming to free a notorious racketeer, Bill Collins, with his giant kite. As the act raised the alarm, Batman and Robin took a motorboat after Kite Man. After a long chase with Kite Man, the fugitives managed to knock Batman's motorboat and captured Batman. Next, Kite Man, along with his gangster associates, tortured Batman in his lair. As Batman got back to his senses, he used the room's wallpaper to form a makeshift bat signal. It was soon noticed by Robin, who arrived and rescued Batman. Using Kite Man's gimmick, kites, Batman and Robin defeated Kite Man and also managed to capture him. As the series took off to new adventures and villains of Batman, Kite Man disappeared and he was barely remembered. After a long 20 years, the character returned in issue 315, released in 1979. The issue opened in Gotham City with Batman capturing a gang of criminals in Gotham City Hall. However, one of the crooks managed to make a kite out of some important blueprints and fly it to Kite Man in secret. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Carlisle Krugerrand, the most trusted officer of corrupted international businessman Gregorian Falstaff, contacted Lucius Fox to make a deal. Gotham City was in turmoil as Falstaff used his powers to make transatlantic airways leave the city, which would directly cause large-scale unemployment in the city. As Bruce Wayne made his futile attempts to avert the decision, Kite Man had plans of his own. One day at noon, 3 kites exploded in a fireworks display which gave a window for Kite Man's gang members to infiltrate the Transatlantic Airways compound disguised as workers. Later that night, when a helicopter carrying the final payroll of the airline landed on the building, several box kites arrived and neutralized the guards with knockout gas. As Kite Man tried snatching the payroll, Batman, who seemed to be knowing about the villain's plans, arrived in his bat glider and crashed it into Kite Man's kite. The two landed upon the street and Kite Man was immediately captured by Batman and handed over to Commissioner Gordon. Kite Man next made an appearance after 7 years in Tony Isabella's Hawkman Volume 2 Issue 4, released in November 1986. This issue showcased Hawkman and Hawkwoman's 5th annual Festival of Flight. The duo hosted the aeronautics show at Midway City Museum to raise money to fund aviation scholarships. The main items on display were a full-sized working model of a pterodactyl and the archaeological treasure, the Golden Eagle. The event was visited by Zatanna as well, and things went fine until Kite Man unleashed his plans of stealing the Golden Eagle. He had already planted a device to remotely control the pterodactyl, and during Zatanna's ongoing performance, Kite Man began to wreak havoc with the pterodactyl. His associate Andrew used the opportunity to steal the Golden Eagle and then give it to Kite Man. Despite having a good plan, Kite Man failed once again because of not assessing the presence of the powerful sorceress Zatanna. Since Hawkman and Hawkwoman had to engage with a runaway dinosaur model, Zatanna faced Kite Man. All attempts by the villain to take down Zatanna failed. The bullets he fired were turned into flowers and he was soon taken down and arrested once again. Kite Man's erratic appearances and failed attempts to execute his ordinary schemes turned him into a D-list villain and later a bit of a joke. In the Young Justice storyline, he was declared to be residing in the country of Zandian, a designated place for supervillains. Kite Man's reputation was quite degraded amongst the villains of Gotham. In 2006 Infinite Crisis issue 3, the Joker stated how Deathstroke threw Kite Man off Wayne Tower without a kite, and later in 52 issues 25, Kite Man was seemingly cannibalized and killed by Bruno Mannheim. The tragic life of Kite Man. So we finally come to the story of Kite Man from DC Rebirth, where his origins are mentioned. It was showcased in Batman Volume 3, issues 25 to 32 by writer Tom King. Kite Man had a name and it was Charles Brown. He was reintroduced in Legends of Tomorrow issue 4 and in Batman Volume 3 issue 6. He was one of the earliest villains faced by Gotham Girl. Kite Man was a petty criminal who usually indulged in stealing jewellery and other valuables. He was an engineer in aerodynamics and mostly sold his kites to other criminals or used his skills in manufacturing vehicles for others. Moving on to Batman Volume 3, we see the events that caused Charles Brown to become Kite Man. Long back in the second year of Batman's career as the Caped Crusader, the Joker was extremely demoralized into committing crimes. He felt that his jokes were no longer funny. He organized an audition for comedians to try to make him laugh, and when they failed, he killed them. Meanwhile, the Riddler, after escaping from Arkham Asylum, arrived at Joker's penthouse to cite a reason for his despair. Riddler stated that it was because of Batman's repeated foiling of his crimes that the Joker's punchlines and moves were extremely predictable. He added that they should kill Batman together to solve their ongoing dilemma. The Joker responded by shooting Riddler in the stomach and leaving, following which Batman arrived and saved him. This was the beginning of a long war between Joker and the Riddler, also known as the event The War of Jokes and Riddles. The conflict has plagued Gotham City for years and Batman has yet to find a solution to it. Joker formed his alliance with Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Deadshot, Man-Bat, Mad Hatter, Ventriloquist, Solomon Grundy, Clue Master, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, while the Riddler teamed up with Poison Ivy, Two-Face, Killer Croc, Scarecrow, Deathstroke, Clayface, Firefly and Mr. Zsasz. Batman was aware that Charles had manufactured Joker's Jokermobile and immediately hunted him down in a bar. Hanging him upside down, Batman took Joker's contact number from Charles. However, when the number was revealed to be wrong, Batman met Charles again and once again threatened to fix a meeting with Joker. Interestingly, Joker planned to use Charles to work as a mole for Riddler, who was already aware of Charles working for Batman. The next day, Charles spent his day with his son, Charlie, flying kites, and later that night he was captured by Clayface for Riddler. Upon meeting with Charles, Riddler stated the information about his son and asked him how his meeting with Joker went. Regarding the meeting with Joker, he was taken away by the Joker before Batman could intervene. Later, when Joker sat with Charles, he was confused about how Batman had set everything up and that Riddler could be aware of it. Later that night, Batman met Charles and asked him where the Joker had taken him. Charles apologized to Batman and revealed his vest with bombs connected to it. Clearly this had been created by the Joker, and as he detonated the button, it was revealed to be a fake one. Instead of any explosion, Joker's recording began playing from it. Charles began to beg Batman for his help as the Riddler had known about his alliance with Batman and Joker, for which he had poisoned the rope of the kite that his son had been playing with. Charlie begged Batman to let him see his son, and he took him down to the child. Young Charlie died before him, breaking down completely. Although Batman reassured that the Riddler would pay for killing his son and damaging the city, Charles had already reached his own breaking point. He went back home and planned on using his knowledge of aerodynamics to develop a new persona. The next day he went to Joker's penthouse and allied with him as Kite Man to exact revenge from Riddler. Days changed to months, with Batman and Commissioner Gordon struggling to keep the city safe from the massive gang wars. The villains from either side faced off against each other, destroying property and killing innocent people. Finally, none other than Bruce Wayne invited both teams to Wayne Manor to resolve the situation. Wayne stated that since the fight was over who got to kill Batman, each team could cite a reason why they should get to kill Batman and not the other. Whoever presented the better case would receive $1 billion from Bruce, with which one side could buy all the other side's troops and fight against Batman. Both teams began stating irrelevant reasons, following which Bruce ended the meeting, stating that he would meet them shortly after that he had made up his mind. Meanwhile, Kite Man spent time with Joker's henchmen to gain access to wider territory. He got himself to confront Batman and got beaten up a few times. Every night, Kite Man would go with Joker's men and fail, following which he regrouped for the next night. However, Batman had seemingly allied with the Riddler, and when they got hold of Charles, it was revealed that Riddler purposefully drove Charles to insanity so that he would later be forced to give out Joker's location. Next, Batman, Riddler and the rest of the teammates crashed into Joker's penthouse with the aid of Kite Man's kites. As the Riddler and Joker fought, Batman revealed his plans of teaming up with Charles long back. With this signal, Kite Man pressed a button and everyone wearing his kites was sucked out of a window. Kite Man then revealed himself to the Riddler, stating that he had once taken away his son and now he has taken away the war. Now it was Joker and Riddler against Batman, and needless to say they were easily taken down. However, Batman seemed to have lost his principles as he took a knife and was about to stab Riddler in the eye before the Joker stopped him from doing so. The knife pierced through Joker's palm and Riddler was saved. Joker, trying to be funny, began laughing his heart out. The two had nearly driven Batman into losing his principles. The war ended, but Charles could no longer cope with his insanity. He was stuck as a petty criminal and an Arkham inmate. Later, after Bane and Flashpoint Batman failed to take over Gotham, Charles managed to get rehabilitated and became a regular citizen of Gotham once again. And that was all from the comics about Kite Man. Despite his failed attempts and a miserably painful life, he was quite a skilled individual. Kite Man's knowledge of aerodynamics is highly commendable. Building Jokermobile also showcases his engineering skills, which he soared high in the air with and built with near precision. One such instance in Titans United Volume 1 Issue 2, Project Cadmus altered his genetic makeup and gave him powers like that of a Titan. It was then that Kite Man achieved superhuman durability, freeze breath, and therianthropy.
Kite Man. Did I just hear the wind? Say, Kite Man!
Kite Man in Harley Quinn TV series. Moving on to animation, Kite Man has been a recurring character in the animated web TV series Harley Quinn. The issue began in 2019 and Kite Man was showcased as a supervillain specialising in kites and had primarily been in assistance of other supervillains. Charles Brown was showcased as an average Caucasian man with a green outfit, bronze boots, matching gloves and a brown belt. Throughout 3 seasons of the series, Kite Man was shown to be dating Poison Ivy. At some point, his finances went down after dating Poison Ivy to such an extent that he began working as a caterer for the Legion of Doom. After his breakup with Ivy, he began dating Golden Glider, a girl who had a similar interest in aviation to him. In Season 4, when Harley and Poison Ivy travelled 25 years into the future, they arrived in a world that had turned into a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Kite Man was seen as frozen, kept by a middle-aged Robin as a trophy. Kite Man's other prominent appearance was in Batman the Brave and the Bold, voiced by Jeffrey Combs. In Season 1, Episode 2, titled Terror on Dinosaur Island, Kite Man was shown in a flashback as a criminal stopped by Batman and his former henchman, E.L. O'Brien. He later appeared in Season 1 Episode 5 titled Day of the Dark Knight and as a prisoner in Iron Heights trying to escape only to be stopped by Batman and Green Arrow. His heroic counterpart in Earth 3 was shown to be resisting the Injustice Syndicate in Episode 19 titled Legends of the Dark Might. Kite Man, along with several other villains, was shown in Batmite's imagination. Kite Man was present along with various other villains in the Lego Batman movie. Kite Man, hell yeah! Everything we know so far. Kite Man will be appearing as a protagonist of the upcoming TV series titled Kite Man, Hell Yeah, which will also be serving as a spin-off from the Harley Quinn TV series. It will be a creation of Dean Laurie, Justus Halpern and Patrick Schumacher, with Annie DeBrock as the editor and Matthew Girardi as the art director. The series will showcase Kite Man and his current girlfriend Golden Glider taking their relationship to the next level by opening a bar together in the shadows of the Legion of Doom. The first teaser trailer was released on September 14th, 2012 by DC and Max, but until now there has been no confirmation of the dates of its release except for the studio claiming to release it soon and that it would be streamed exclusively on Max. The voice behind Kite Man's character will be Matt Oberg, who will also be voicing Killer Croc, KG Beast and a handful more characters. Kaylee Cuoco will be continuing to voice Harley Quinn along with Kathy Ang, who will continue with the Golden Glider. Leaving the main cast, there's many more characters whose appearances have been confirmed in the TV series, such as Queen of Fables, voiced by Wanda Sykes, Bane, voiced by James Adomian, and lastly, Michael Ironside will voice Darkseid. Let's hope that it's released later this year in 2024. Marvelous verdict! And so we come to the end of our video, and we hope you liked our content. Kite Man has been gaining a lot more depth in character build, and he'll be gaining more fans from his upcoming titular series. DC has all the wonders of bringing back characters and reprising them, but with stronger origins. Kite Man will surely be one of them, and despite having different shades of personalities in the comics and the series, Kite Man is surely going to change in stature in the coming days. And with that, we end today's video, so feel free to add your views in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching our video. video till the end and stay tuned for the next marvelous video. Take care.